Salahaddin Eyyubi, known in the West as Saladin, was one of the most consequential figures of the 12th century. A warrior-statesman whose life both reflected and reshaped the political and religious landscape of the medieval Near East. Born around 1137 to 1138 in or near Tikrit, in the region of modern Iraq, he came from a Kurdish family that served the Seljuk and then the Zengid rulers. His early years unfolded in an age of fractured authority. The Muslim world was divided among competing dynasties, while the Crusader states established a Latin Christian foothold along the Levantine coast after the First Crusade. Into this turbulent environment, Salahaddin would rise, first as a military commander and administrator, then as the founder of a new dynasty and the central Muslim counterweight to the Crusader principalities. Salahaddin's public career began under the tutelage of his uncle Shirkuh, a leading general in the service of the Zengid ruler Nur ad-Din of Aleppo, Egypt, then ruled by the Ismaili Fatimid Caliphate and a prize for any ambitious power, became the arena for Shirkuh's campaigns in the 1160s. When Shirkuh died in 1169, his nephew Salahaddin inherited the position of vizier. From this foundation he accomplished what few had done. He consolidated authority in Egypt, dismantled the remaining Fatimid institutions that were at odds with Sunni orthodoxy, and realigned the country with the Sunni Muslim polities of Syria and Iraq. This transformation not only secured vast economic and military resources, but also made Egypt the power base from which Salahaddin projected influence across the Levant. By the 1170s and 1180s, Salahaddin had set about building what is commonly called the Ayyubid state. He combined prudent administration, reforming finances, patronizing the Sunni ulama, and maintaining a reliable bureaucratic apparatus with energetic military campaigns. He expanded his authority into Syria and parts of Mesopotamia, seeking to unify Muslim forces against the Crusader states that controlled important coastal cities such as Antioch, Tripoli, and the Kingdom of Jerusalem. But Salahaddin's aim was not mere conquest for its own sake. He sought to restore Muslim control over territory that many Muslims regarded as unjustly held, and to present a credible, organized opposition to the Latin kingdoms. The climactic moment in Salahaddin's career came in 1187 at the Battle of Hattin. After a series of skirmishes and sieges designed to weaken the Crusader principalities, his forces decisively engaged the Crusader armies on July 4, 1187, near Tiberias. The Crusader forces, caught with limited water and poor logistical position, were routed. The victory at Hattin shattered the military backbone of the Crusader kingdom of Jerusalem. Many knights were killed or captured, and vital relics, including the True Cross, fell into Muslim hands. The road to Jerusalem lay open. On October 2, 1187, Salahaddin's forces entered Jerusalem and took control of the city that had been the spiritual and political prize of the Crusaders since 1099. The manner in which Salahaddin handled Jerusalem enhanced his reputation in both Muslim and Christian circles. Unlike the storming and slaughter that accompanied the Crusader capture of the city in 1099, Salahaddin's re-entry was comparatively restrained. He negotiated terms, accepted ransoms, and allowed many inhabitants, Christian, Muslim, and Jewish, to leave or remain with protection. Contemporary Muslim chroniclers praised his generosity and piety. Some Christian sources, though lamenting the loss of the city, acknowledged his clemency. This conduct helped to forge the image of Salahaddin as a chivalrous and merciful leader, an image that would be amplified in later European and Islamic narratives. News of Jerusalem's fall provoked a major response in Western Europe, precipitating the Third Crusade, 1189-1192. European monarchs, Frederick I Barbarossa of the Holy Roman Empire, Philip II Augustus of France, and Richard I of England, led forces to the Levant. The campaign saw fierce fighting, including the protracted siege and eventual recapture of Acre by the Crusaders and several sharp battles between Richard and Salahaddin's commanders. Richard and Salahaddin never met in direct personal combat, but they engaged in a prolonged strategic and diplomatic struggle. After years of costly campaigning, both leaders recognized the limits of their objectives. In 1192, they concluded an agreement. While Jerusalem would remain under Muslim control, the treaty guaranteed safe passage and pilgrimage rights for Christians to the holy sites. The accord was a pragmatic compromise, neither a total victory nor an absolute defeat. but it reflected Salahaddin's skill in balancing military pressure with diplomatic accommodation. Beyond his battlefield success, Salahaddin's significance lies in his work as a statesman and patron. He reconstituted the administrative structures of Egypt and Syria, supported religious and educational institutions, and sought to establish a degree of unity among various Muslim rulers and factions. His governance emphasized the restoration of Sunni orthodoxy in previously Fatimid lands while maintaining practical tolerance in diverse, multi-confessional cities. The Ayyubid dynasty he founded endured for decades after his death, though it fractured among his relatives rather than becoming a long-lasting centralized empire. Salahaddin died in Damascus on March 4, 1193. He left no grand unified state to be inherited intact. His sons and relatives divided the Ayyubid territories, yet his symbolic legacy was immense. For Muslims, he became a symbol of resistance and unity against external encroachment, and a model of religious devotion combined with worldly competence. For Europeans, he emerged in later literature as a paragon of chivalry and honorable conduct, an image sometimes romanticized beyond the strict historical record, but rooted in real acts of clemency and negotiation. Over subsequent centuries, historians and storytellers in both cultures preserved and embellished his memory, transforming Salahaddin into one of the medieval world's most enduring figures. In sum, Salahaddin Eyyubi's life combined military acumen, administrative reform, religious commitment, and diplomatic skill. From a provincial officer's son to the ruler of Egypt and Syria who retook Jerusalem, his career altered the geopolitical balance of the Eastern Mediterranean and left a reputation that transcended cultural and religious boundaries, an example of how personal character and political ambition together can shape history.